respected alumni in terms of the group Mediclaim policy. This initiative are taken for all the alumni along with their direct dependent, their parents and parent-in-law. So in this session, we will cover the overview of this policy. We'll give you a comprehensive idea regarding what all the benefit is provided by IIT Delhi to all the alumni. So if anyone is having any kind of query, once we conclude the presentation, we can take the queries one-to-one of all the alumni. We policy team are there to help you out for the enrollment process. If anyone having any kind of query, we can take post the presentation. So the policy which IIT Delhi have introduced for all the existing alumni is for, as Gaurav already mentioned, there are four policies. Alumni self, where alumni can cover their spouse, children up to three children up to the age of 25, their parents or parent-in-law. For parent or parent-in-law, we are having separate parental policy. Alum can add any one set of parents, either parents or parent-in-law. Cross selection of parents are not allowed under this policy. Most of the queries which have received from the alumni regarding what is the meaning of cross selection, which is mentioned in the handbook. Cross selection basically refers to if Yasna is an alumni and Yasna is interested toward his father and one father-in-law or father or mother-in-law. This is basically called as a cross selection. So only one set of parents is allowed under this policy. KR Health is the insurance company for IIT Delhi. And the TPA, it is an in-house program which is offered by KR. Policy Bazaar is the service and tech partner for IIT Delhi. We are providing all type of enrollment related services to IIT Delhi. And apart from the enrollment, we are providing the complete service benefit. All the alumni, if by any chance, if any alumni is having any kind of query, any kind of concern, by any chance they want any extra support at the time of hospitalization, you can connect to the Policy Bazaar team. So Policy Bazaar complete dedicated team will be there to solve their queries. So most of the alumni is also having the query, what is the main role of Policy Bazaar if the care health is an insurer. In some of the scenarios, we have most of the alumni or most of the member is having concern. By any chance, if we are not getting a, we want to expedite the claim or we are not getting any proper response from the insurance company, to whom we can connect. So on that road, Policy Bazaar as a service provider, as a broker, will be there to support you for any kind of claims or any kind of review of claims or any kind of hospital under empanelment. As per the standard process of taking any kind of claim, there is a 24-hour hospitalization is mandatory for taking any kind of claim under the irrespective of retail policy, irrespective of group Mediclaim policy. So 24-hour hospital basically stands for, by any chance, if any of the alumni is having any kind of concern regarding any kind of disease for whose they have hospital, the minimum hospitalization required 24 hours, subject to the completely admissibility of the claim. But in current scenario, there are some alumni might have query in there is some element where 24-hour hospitals is not required, like stone, cataract, hernia, knee replacement, most of the cancer related treatment like chemotherapy, immunotherapy, hormonal therapy, all those comes under the daycare procedure. So there are more than 200 daycare procedure as per the insurance company for whom 24-hour hospitalization is not mandatory. But for as per the standard process by insurance company, 24-hour hospitalization is mandatory. But for if any alum is having any kind of particular illness which comes under the daycare list, on that scenario, they don't need to hospitalize for 24 hours. They can take the treatment in the hospital hour, because as per the current hospital scenario, the hospital equipments, most of the hospital are too much advanced, so they don't require to hospitalize the patient for more than 24 hours. The treatment which hospital provides, it will be completed within 2 to 3 hours, and the patient gets discharged on the same day. By any chance, if any of the alumni is hospitalized due to any kind of particular illness or particular disease, and the hospital is not under the cashless panel, because for taking any kind of claim, there are always two scenarios. One is cashless facility, another one is reimbursement facility. In detail for cashless and reimbursement, we will discuss in the upcoming slide. But for the hospitalization wala part, let me clarify both the point. Cashless facility basically provided to those hospital where the insurance company is having the panel with the hospital. So in case of hospitalism, alumni can take the cashless facility on that hospital by showing the IIT Delhi group Mediclaim e-card along with some KYC document. Or by any chance, if the hospital is not comes under the cashless panel, employee need to file a reimbursement. They have to procure all the document from the hospital and to file a reimbursement to the care health team. As care health is provided as a completely digital based processing, alumni need not need to courier all the document as per the as in the traditional method. They just need to scan the document, upload in the application. I will showcase the demo of the application in the upcoming slide as well. So for taking any kind of claim, if the hospitalization is more than 24 hours, there are certain points which need to be adhered by the insurance company at the hospital, like expenses related to surgical fees, operational theater, anesthesia and oxygen, administration, room, boarding. Hospitals basically for the alumni and coming for the reimbursement. If the hospital is not under the cashless panel, the hospital must be 10 beds if located in town or less than 10 lakhs class C town or minimum 15 bed in types of other towns. So there is a hospital criteria for taking the benefit because some of the alumni is having query regarding I'm having a nearby clinic where the doctor have taking some benefit. So if I'm filing a claim from that particular clinic, we will be able to file the claim. On that scenario, there are some particular criteria of the hospital. If the hospital falls under that particular criteria, irrespective of hospital registration, if they are registered with the government, if they are having particular set of beds in the hospital, then only the hospital falls under the particular criteria to take the reimbursement facility. The main point, the main benefit and the main benefit which are providing through the IIT Delhi policy regarding the flexibility of the age. If you see the benefit which are providing, the entry age for alumni and self is 18 to 85. If any alumni is currently 85-year-old, it is hard for them to find out any policy in the open market policy. A little minimum company is providing this age bracket to as an entry age. If any company is providing in the open market policy, there might be certain waiting period. They might charge some extra amount, and lots of physical medical checkup is also required for taking the particular insurance policy. But through IIT Delhi, the policy which you are offering, only Guru good health declaration is required. No physical medical is required for taking this policy. So 18 is the minimum entry age for the alumni and spouse, and 85 is the maximum entry age for alumni and the spouse. And on that note, might be most of the alumni is having query if I am what will happen post 85. So 85 is the maximum entry age. If any alumni is taking the policy at the age of 85, they are having the flexibility to renew the policy up to the age of 100. In child case, the minimum entry age is 91 days and the maximum entry age is 24 years. As per the insurance company, they found that 24 post 24, the child might be independent. They might taking their own policy. They might be working in somewhere or they might be married. So on that scenario, 24 is the maximum age for the child. For parental policy, same 41 is the maximum entry age and 41 is the minimum entry age. 85 is the maximum entry age. So if in alumni is for parents are less than 85 or 85, they can take the policy and continue the policy till the age of 100. For IIT Delhi, both the policies like parental based policy and alumni based policy, because most of the alumni might have what is base and what is top up policy. Because as Gaurav sir already told, and we already have communicated, there are four policies. One is alumni spouse child base policy, alumni spouse and child top up policy, parental base and parental top up. So to clarify between the difference between base and top up, through the IIT Delhi, we are offering three plan, 5, 7, and 10 lakh rupees as a base coverage, and 10 to 1 year as a top-up coverage. Top-up policy basically refers to an over and above sum assured which is provided to the alumni to cover the family. By any chance, if alumni thought that yeah, the 10 lakh rupees coverage which is provided by IIT Delhi, and as per the current scenario in Delhi or Bombay or Bangalore kind of cities is not enough for me, I want to increase the sum assured, they can opt a top-up policy to secure to increase that particular amount. But by any chance, if any alumni is having query regarding, I am having already a base policy from any XYZ company, and or my corporate company where I'm working, and that sum assured is not suffice my requirement, I want to increase the sum assured, you can take a standard alone basis top-up policy from IIT Delhi. IIT Delhi policies, for the policies are not correlated to anyone in each other. If alumni wants to take any one policy after the bucket of four policy, they are open that they can take this policy. To give the example regarding the base and top up, how basically this work, like Yasna is an alumni of IIT Delhi. He is having a base policy of 10 lakh rupees and I've taken a top up policy of 15 lakh rupees. And by any chance, the claim will come for 20 lakh rupees. Then 10 lakh rupees will go from my base policy. The rest amount will go from my top up policy. And the top up policy, the main key feature of this policy, policy which is created by IIT Delhi, there is no medical checkup required, physical medical checkup required for opting in this policy. There are certain good health declaration questionnaire which alumni can get, can go through regarding through the enrollment portal, where they have to declare some, if anyone having any kind of pre-existing element, if anyone are consuming any kind of like tobacco, having smoking habits, any kind of drinking habit, they have to declare some point. On that basis, the policy will be issued. There will be no extra loading if by any chance if any alumni is declaring any point, or in the retail policies what happened, insurance companies might charge an extra amount if they found any existing.
Yadna, you are not audible anymore. Just can you check?
Am I audible right now?
Yes, you are audible. Sorry, please continue.
Sorry, I might miss. So as I was mentioning that in this policy, no medical checkup is required, physical medical checkup is required, only good health declaration is required for opting this policy. The policy tenure is 1 year. The policy will be valid for 365 days completely. Cashless facility, as I told, both cashless and reimbursement facility is there to provide the claim benefit by any chance, if any alumni required the hospitalization, required any kind of medical emergency. Both cashless and reimbursement facility is available under the base and top-up policies. Sum assured which is provided by IIT Delhi is 5, 7, and 10 lakh rupees for alumni base and parental based policy. Modern treatments are covered. Modern treatment is kind of a one highlighted benefit why the IIT Delhi have opted and over and above as per the market practice. IIT Delhi is providing 100% modern treatment. Through that, because in currently most of the renowned hospital, big hospitals are suggested for any kind of robotic or modern treatment. As per the standard market practice, most of the corporate, most of the institutes have taken modern treatment up to some particular limit or particular 50% of the sum assured, or they're capped with some limitation. But for IIT Delhi, IIT Delhi have taken the initiative that they want to provide a modern treatment to all the alumni or dependent by any chance if is there any medical kind of emergency or modern treatment suggested by that hospital, then it is completely covered up to the 100% of the sum assured. Alumni can take the benefit of modern treatment. There will be no co-payment of modern treatment will be covered 80% or 90%. It will be covered as per the sum assured opted by the alumni. Whenever any alumni goes to the, by any chance, if anyone is having any kind of past experience, whenever anyone is going to the hospital, there are majorly 2 to 3 questions which will be asked by the hospital TPA team regarding what is the insurance company. Like for IIT Delhi, it is the Care Health. There is no TPA. TPA is an in-house. Care will provide the claim settlement in-house basis. what is the sum assured you have, what is the room rent eligibility which I am having, what kind of room I can take at the time of hospitalization. For IIT Delhi, if anyone is going for normal room, it is single sharing private room. For ICU, it is as per actual. Daycare treatments are covered, which we have discussed in the first slide, 24-hour hospitalization. More than 200 daycare diseases are there, which basically comes under this policy. Alumni can take the benefit of daycare surgeries. Daycare surgery basically refers for those kind of treatment where 24-hour hospitalization is not mandatory. Pre and post hospitalization is also covered, like 30 and 60. Pre and post basically refers to in currently most of the scenarios, hospital or doctor basically suggested us that you are if I am suffering from dengue or any kind of particular illness, I'm having some fever. Doctor suggested us to take some kind of medication, and they suggested come after 15 days or 10 days. If you're not feeling well, we will hospitalize you. So if I'm getting hospitalized 20th January, from today, before 30 days, all the expenses which I've done for my own pocket, irrespective of Mediclaim bills, doctor consultation fees, irrespective of any kind of medicines which you have consumed, irrespective of any kind of lab test which I've done, everything will comes under the pre-hospitalization that will be covered. There will be no limitation on the pre-hospitalization expenses, like IIT Delhi will cover 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. There are no limitation. uh, Alumni can take the claim up to the sum assured, and same will comes for the post hospitalization. Like I'm getting discharged on 25th of January 2025. Hospital in general scenario, they suggested for a routine checkup after 15 days or after 20 days. They suggested a particular set of medicines to us, that you have to consume this medicine for next 10 days, 15 days, or 1 month. All the expenses which doctor or hospital suggested at the time of discharge, those everything will be covered as a OPD basis. Standard alone OPD is not covered, but this kind of medication which is suggested by the hospital post getting discharge, from the date of discharge, post 60 days, all the expenses which alumni have done for themselves or their dependent, those are also covered under this policy. Hospitalization at home, that facility is also there. Basically, we have witnessed regarding the COVID scenario, but most of the hospitals are not having the proper bed. And if the by any chance hospital have suggested, you can take the treatment from your home. So home hospitalization is also covered, subject to there is a minimum 3 day of treatment has been done from the home. Ambulance is also covered. Ambulance is covered 5,000 rupees per incident per hospitalization. Alumni or dependent can take a 5,000 rupees of claim. Donor expenses is also covered under this policy. By any chance, if due to any major illness, major surgery, hospital or doctor have suggested for any kind of donor exchange or donor change, that expenses is also covered under this policy. Then comes on the waiting period on the policy. So the major fact to compare it regarding the open market retail policies versus the policy which is offered by the IIT Delhi. If anyone is having any kind of retail policy, or they can compare the retail policy with IIT Delhi. We are having the proper retail versus corporate comparison as well. For retail policies, the specific there are lots of slow growing element which is basically calls as per the insurance company's specific disease, like slow growing element, stone, cataract, hernia, knee replacement kind of element. Most of the insurance company cover after 2 year or 3 year post taking the policy. And for pre-existing element, in currently in India, most of the insurance company are not taking providing any kind of health policy. If alumni is having any kind of pre-existing disease, if they're providing the policy, they're charging a lot of amount along with a waiting period of 3 to 4 years. So alumni need to pay amount for particularly continues to 3 to 4 years. Post that, insurance company will cover the pre-existing kind of element. But for IIT Delhi, the policy which is offered by IIT Alumni Association in Delhi, there is a the waiting period for any specific disease like stone, cataract, hernia, knee replacement, it is 12 months. For any kind of pre-existing disease, there is also waiting period of 12 months, 1 year waiting period only. By any chance, if any alumni is having any kind of pre-existing element, like they're consuming any kind of medicine currently, they have to declare the pre-existing disease through the good health declaration form, which is already deployed in the enrollment portal. They have to declare the what exactly pre-existing element they have. On the basis of the policy issuance, the particular pre-existing element will be covered post 12 months from the policy inception. Flexibility of coverage, as we had given the option, we are providing 5, 7, and 10 lakh rupees option for alumni, self, spouse, and parental as well. They can opt the policy as per their convenience. There is no co-payment in this policy. Most of the alumni might have query, if I am having filing a claim of 100 rupees, am I eligible to take the claim of completely 100 rupees? On that scenario, for this particular policy, there is no co-payment is applied. Only alumni need to burn the non-payable items, some non-payable item which is basically not covered by any insurance company, like gloves, syringe, registration fees, some basic non-payable item, consumable items, which are basically not covered by any insurance company in currently India. If some of the insurance companies covering in retail policy, they are also taking some extra amount as a add-on benefit through their covering non-payable item as well. For this particular policy, there is no element-wise capping. Element-wise capping basically refers, I have taken a policy of 10 lakh rupees from IIT Delhi, and IIT Delhi have restricted a capping of 50,000 rupees for uh, cataract surgery, or 1 lakh rupees for a knee replacement. For this policy, there is no element-wise capping. Alumni are eligible to take the claim up to the sum assured. There is no capping. And this particular policy, as it's a group Mediclaim policy, as it's an Indian policy, alumni can take the policy within the geographical area of India. Most of the alumni might have queried that I am from any particular state and I am working in another state. My parents are living in the village or in their hometown. Will they able to take the claim? Yes, alumni and the dependent who all are covered under this policy, they can take the claim within the geographical area of India. For increasing the amount, as I told, we are having the super top of policy feature is also available. In this policy also, there is no medical required. Policy tenure is also 1 year. Cashless facility is also provided in both the policy, both cashless and reimbursement facility. Sum assured, which is provided by IIT Delhi's, we are having multiple options like 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 50, 75, and 1 year. Alumni can take the policy, top up policy as per their convenience. By any chance, most of the alumni say that we are already working in any company, and my corporate is providing a some assured of 5 lakh rupees, and I think that some assured is not sufficient for us, so they can take this policy. Like I'm working policy wizard providing me a sum assured of 3 lakh or 5 lakh rupees, and I also wanted to increase that sum assured where I'm not getting any proper solution for that. So on that scenario, IIT Delhi have launched a super top-up policy as well. If any of the existing alumni is having any kind of personal policy or any kind of corporate policy, they can take a super top-up policy to increase their threshold amount, to increase the particular sum assured. Daycare treatment is also covered in this policy. The other T and C's like daycare treatment, inpatient hospitalization, pre and post hospitalization at home, ambulance, donor expenses, waiting period, everything is covered as per the base policy itself, where I have told that there is a waiting period of 12 months for the specific particular illness, and pre-existing there is a 12-month waiting period. There is no capping also in the top-up policy. Alumni can take the claim within the geographical area of India. There are some particular pre-existing conditions which is basically not allowed under this program. If alumni is having this particular pre-existing conditions, they can't take the policy as per the policy, as per the insurance company guidelines, like active cancer or brain tumor or major organ failure like brain, lungs, kidney, heart, pancreas, liver. If any of the alumni is having any kind of this kind of element conditions, or they are having already diagnosed with this kind of uh, diseases, they will not be able to take this policy. Chronic liver disease, chronic kidney disease, any type of paralysis of hand, legs, and body. If any alumni is already paralyzed and wants to take the policy, so this policy will not allow them to opt this policy. You have to declare all the element which you are currently having in the enrollment portal to opt the policy. But these are the particular element conditions list. If any of the alumni is having this kind of pre-existing conditions, then they are not able to take the policy. On that scenario also, there are some particular element which if the any of the alumni is having, they can take a maximum 20 lakh rupees of top up, like the top up option which we have discussed from 10 lakhs to 1 crore. But if the any of the alumni is having, then this particular list of disease, like all treated cancer with no replies in last 5 years, they can take maximum coverage of 20 lakh rupees in top up policy. This basically stands for if I am having any kind of illness before 5 years, I can take the policy. But on that scenario, I can take a maximum sum assured of 20 lakh rupees. All heart, cardiovascular disorder in brain, spinal cord, this disorder, this kind of elements, if any alumni is having, they can take a maximum sum assured of 20 lakh rupees. There's a some waiting period of 12 months as per the standard disease which I have mentioned, like arthritis, uh, joint replacement, stone, cataract. These are all the completely comes under the specific illness list where there is a waiting period of 12 months, unless and until by any alumni is injured through the accident. If they comes under the treatment for this particular illness list, they can get the handbook. And if any alumni is having this kind of illness, they can take the claim post 12-month policy inception. There is some basic general exclusion as per the IID, as per the any kind of policy TNC. If any alumni goes for vitamin or tonics, unless used for doctor injection. By any chance, if any alumni are were there taking any kind of vitamin which is not prescribed by the hospital, by any chance my one of my colleague, one of my friend suggested that you are having fever, I have taken that particular medicine. If you take that medicine, you will be cured. And without taking the doctor suggestion, I am taking that particular medicine, and due to that I'm getting hospitalized. So this kind of like behavior or this kind of medicine expenses will not be covered by the insurance company. Health, like if I'm taking any kind of supplements for increasing my health, like I'm taking any kind of multivitamins, those expenses are not basically covered under the group medical policy. Like cosmetical surgeries as also not covered unless and until it is occurred due to the accidental, like I'm going for a hair transplant, I'm going for a plastic surgery. Unless and until plastic surgery is not happening due to any kind of accidental case, those are also not covered under any kind of medical policy, irrespective of it is a retail policy, irrespective it is a group medical policy provided by any insurance any organization or any committee. HIV/AIDS hospitalization for diagnostic test only. By any chance, I'm thinking that I am having some fever. I just want to get hospitalized. Like I'm thinking there is some pain in my stomach, and if I go to the hospital and do some all type of test by getting hospitalized for 24 hours, on that scenario, that hospitalization will also not cover because as per the insurance company, hospitalization, hospital justification is mandatory if anyone is taking the claim. The proper justification of what treatment hospital have provided at the duration of the hospitalization, that is mandatory required. If any of the patient or if any of the member is get hospitalized and due to only the observation purpose only, those treatments are not covered under any kind of group medical policy or any kind of retail policies. Observation basically refers that, as I told, I'm having some fever, I am suffering from stone related issue. I thought that if I go as per the policy TNC, to minimum 24-hour hospitals is required. If I go to the hospital, if I take a 24-hour of admission and I do all type of body test, all type of test through to identify what is happening in my stomach, those will not comes under the policy. If any particular illness found that in my stomach and hospital suggested for any kind of particular treatment, that will be covered. But any kind of observation related hospitalization is not comes cover under any kind of policies, health policies. The main point regarding if by any chance if any alumni is required for the claim support, as I told, we are having both the facility, both cashless and reimbursement facility. For cashless, In the traditional method, what happened? Alumni goes to the hospital, provided all the supporting document to the hospital TPA team to to receive the approval later. But for currently, as per the latest survey, 60 to 70% of claims are for pre-planned. So it is suggestible to all the alumni, if they are going for a pre-planned surgery, they can take a pre-auth approval by the help of policy visit team. You can connect to us, so we will arrange a pre-auth approval for you. Pre-auth approval basically valid for 7 to 15 days depending to the hospital. If any alumni take the pre-auth approval, they just need to go to the hospital. By any chance, I am having a pre-planned surgery of cataract for my father on 25th of January. If I go directly on 25th January, I have to do some formalities in the hospital. Might be I have to wait for 30 minutes to 1 hour for the complete approval details to initiate the treatment. If I am having already pre-planned surgery for that particular hospital, if I already finalize the hospital, finalize the doctor to whom I need to take that benefit, I can take a pre-auth approval from the Care Health Insurance by through the Policy Bazaar team, support of the Policy Bazaar team. So you can showcase the pre-auth approval later directly to the hospital at the time of hospitalization, and you can immediately start your treatment, which will reduce the TAT of processing the claim. Same, most of the alumni has having query that what is the TAT of this claim. As per the survey, when we are identifying the particular a good health insurance for IIT Delhi, we identify that KR Health Insurance, we have taken the market survey, we have taken our own survey. As per the standard uh, process of KR Health Insurance, they require 35 to 45 to 45 minutes to 1 hour for processing any kind of initial approval. At the time of discharge, the maximum time is 3 hours, but 85 to 90% cases, the claims will be settled for the discharge is 2.5 hour. This is we discussed regarding the pre-auth approval, the importance of the pre-auth approval. If you take the pre-auth approval before getting hospitalized, so what is the benefit of taking the pre-auth approval, which will reduce the overall TAT for the starting the treatment. For taking the cashless benefit as well, Policy Bazaar team will provide the tech platform. As I mentioned, Policy Bazaar is not only the service provider, they are the tech partner for IIT Delhi as well. We will provide the visitor facility to all the alumni. They can identify the nearby cashless panel hospital where they can go and take the cashless benefit by showing the pre-auth approval which they have, or they can showcase the Mediclaim e-card to initiate the pre-auth approval. For reimbursement process, as I told, we are having the completely paperless basis claim. Alumni just need to scan the basic document checklist, need to upload the document through the visit application from the mobile, or we are having the web facility as well. They can upload the document through the application or web portal for processing the claim. They just need to scan the document, need to select the patient name. There are some basic information which they need to put regarding the hospital name, date of admission, date of discharge, what all the indoor case paper, investigation report, some basic checklist of document. They need to scan and upload the application. And once the claim number will generated, the claim will be processed within 7 to 10 working days. Alumni is also having the flexibility to check the remaining sum issued through our application and to check the claim process to what is the claim status. If the by any chance, if there any query raised by the insurance company, if any additional document is required by the insurance company to process that particular claim. So if by instance, if any alumni have raised a query and insurance company required the cancel check or the document which is provided by the alumni is not clear, then they can see the real-time basis query by which is raised by the insurance company in our application, and they can upload the same to our application for further processing of the claim. For filing the reimbursement claim, those are the basically a mandatory document checklist which is already available in the handbook, and you can see the details like claim for part A, part B, copy of some government ID proof, hospital inpatient document, medicine bill, investigation report. Those are the basic document checklist which is required for processing any kind of claim. These are the basically delay reason, like incomplete document, claim form not received from the hospital, investigation report is not there, not submission of document, like we are having a discharge summary. Discharge summary is basically mandatory for processing any kind of claim for 24-hour hospitalization. By any chance, if any alumni have gone for a daycare treatment, daycare summary is also mandatory. And if any alumni have not submitted those documents, then the claim will not be processed, because those are some mandatory document for processing the claim, like claim form. Sorry. So processing, so there are some basic delay reason, which is for if this any kind of comes under the reason, then the claim will be delay, like bank details not share. As per the policy, it is recommended to all the alumni for any kind of claim, they have to submit the name printed cancel check for processing the claim fastly. By any chance, if anyone is not having the proper cancel check name printed, they can submit the bank passbook first page along with the, or they can submit the bank statement for processing the claim. This is the basic way of how to reduce the TAT. Right, for the claim process which is mentioned in the upcoming slide, which you have discussed, like you have to take the proper document checklist. You can scan the document, you have to identify all the details, you have to upload the same in the visit application for faster processing of the claim. Apart from the Mediclaim policy, we are providing the unlimited time doctor consultation facility to all the alumni along with their love dependent who comes under this policy. You can take unlimited time doctor consultation. We are having more than 27 specialization of doctor with 350 impaneled doctor. So you can take the complete unlimited time doctor consultation through the video call or voice call. Once you complete you will receive an prescription through your over the email and over the WhatsApp for taking any kind of further treatment. Or if any alumni wants to book any kind of lab test or any kind of online medicine, they can order from our application itself, and they can get up to a 20% of discounting through, if they're opting, they're purchasing the medicine or they're doing the consultation through the visit application. Telemedical benefit is already covered, which I've discussed. Like, you don't need to pay anything if you're taking the telemedical from the visit application. It is completely unlimited type, complimentary for all the alumni and the dependent as well. In clinic consultation is available by instance if any alumni wants to do in clinic in person consultation. That benefit they also can take, but on that they have to pay the amount. Only till unlimited time doctor on call is complimentary. Alumni go for the in clinic treatment, bear the cost, but if you compare the cost as per the open market and as per the uh, benefit which is provided by policy with IIT Delhi to all the alumni, you can get a discounted pricing over the application. This is the basically process how to book the in-clinic consultation. You just need to go to the visit application, identify the doctor. You can book the consultation. You can select the date.
Yeah, Yajna, I think we have covered a lot of things. Let's keep it to the policy, and these we can just tell them in brief and
Mhm.
share the details. And let us now take questions. Although
Sure,
Policy Bazaar team is already answering the questions as and when they are coming on the chat, let's ask if you have gone through all the details, you can share these numbers, and then let's take questions what the people are having, and then let's go ahead with that. You
sure,
can
sure.
keep the numbers slide open so that people who come can note down the numbers and email ID of the Policy Bazaar team in case they want to get in touch with you guys. Just keep the light slide where the details of your team and email IDs are there, where people can connect with you.
Sure,
And
sure.
then
Yeah.
we can ask. So whoever is typing on the chat box, people are answering. Two or three members of Policy Bazaar are already on that and they are answering the questions parallelly. So just you can switch on the slideshow and just show that slide. Meanwhile, anyone who wants to ask a question can ask, raise their hand, and we will unmute them and they can ask a question. Yajna or their team will answer this. So I got a, huh, okay. So Ronak Gupta has a question. Ronak, can you please ask? Tarun Malik, you have raised your hand. So can you go ahead?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question regarding, the top up where the parents are involved. So if you see, I was just checking, a base plan for just self and your spouse and one child for a 10 lakh cover is costing 25,000 roughly as a premium. But the
Okay.
moment you add your parents on top on that, it takes that premium to over a lakh. I think it's in fact 2 lakhs for that same
Okay.
coverage. So I don't understand. Is this how it's supposed to be, or is this have I made some mistake in understanding this? Because
So,
it's absurd. I mean, you're paying almost 1.5 lakhs, over 1.5 lakhs just for your parents.
Yajna, you can answer this query. So, this is bound to happen from my experience. If you will add the parents, the premium will increase to this level or not. If you are doing everything correctly, the team can check in detail one to one. But yes, the premium for parents is relatively much higher than because of the age.
Tarun sir, as Gaurav sir said, like we are having four policies. Like yes, yeah, if I comes to your place, like I am having, I am taking the policy for myself, my spouse and child. If I have to pay amount of 10,000 rupees, considering my age factor. If I add my parent, the premium will be extra added because the considering their age, the sum assured which I am opting, the premium will be increased. But as are you saying the premium is going for approximately 1.5 to 2 lakh? Can you please confirm the age of your parent?
Yeah, age is one. My father is 78, 79, and my mother is 76.
So as per my knowledge, it will be approximately 1,22,000 for a 10 lakh rupees of coverages. Or I will do one thing. Let me do one thing. I am. You can give us your contact details. I can connect to post the call to see the enrollment journey which you are doing from the portal. By any chance, if you are doing any kind of mistake, I can guide you or I can give you the complete breakup of the premium.
Yes,
Yeah,
that will be
that would
better.
be great.
And
Yeah, that would be great.
thank you, Tarun. All others who want to check this, so I've seen read a lot of messages regarding the premium. So the premium is being shown once you log into the website and fill in all the details of people and the type of policy that you are taking. Like you are taking a base policy or top-up policy and the age brackets your parents or your child or yourself are. Then the policy price is being shown. You can go to that. So the link I will, so if you go to the IITD website, there is a link for enroll here. Once you share the details, they take you to another page where they are asking you to put in all the details about yourself and the people you want to insure, and then they and the policy that you are willing to take, and you can accordingly check out the premium. All right, so the premium will not cannot be shared over here. We can only tell you the approximate number. Once you log in and share the details of the individual person and the people being insured, then only you will get the right premium amount. Uh, Tarun sir, we have answered question. I will move on to Mr. Milanshu. So you have raised your hand.
Uh,
Could you
yes.
send us
So
the
I just
link?
wanted to check. Yeah, I just wanted to understand right now. I already have a HDFC Optima Secure policy, right? So apart from the age benefit cover, what additional benefit I'm going to get if I switch from HDFC Secure to this one?
So exact terms and condition, I think will have to be checked one on one. The terms and condition, the details of terms and conditions are available on the website of the IT Delhi, where the detailed handbook is given, right? And for comparing the two terms and conditions, we have to go through the HDFC Secure, and so this is difficult. But yes, you can get the details of this, or you can get in touch one to one with the Policy Bazaar team to answer and help you in comparing the two.
Sure, sir.
Right. Mr. Ramesh Sri Govar, sir, you wanted to ask a question. In the meanwhile,
Am I audible?
yes, sir, you are audible now.
Yeah. In fact, I am interested in getting this insurance, but I wanted to know the contact number so that I can contact somebody and have one-to-one discussion. Because when I tried to fill that form, which is there in the on the online, which is there, it was coming to about more than 1 lakh. I am 73 years old, and my wife is 67 years old.
All right, sir, they will get in touch with you. Either you can share your number over here in the chat box or with the
I've
team, or
already
you
given.
can
I've given my
all
number.
right.
I've already
They will
given.
connect with you. Yajna, are these the details? These are for claim settlement. Can you share the details of your team?
Given the number in the below of that, you can see the GMC support at the rate
Okay.
IITD.
So can you just increase the size of that so that people can focus on that rather than the helpline and cashless? So that is different. Miss Asha, you wanted to ask a question in the meanwhile.
Yeah, I have a few questions. One is, can siblings be covered? And when you say spouse, does it have to be a married partner, or could it be a partner who's not, you're not married? That's one. And the other question is this handbook, but I think you've sort of answered it somewhere on the website, IIT Delhi website. Is that correct?
So
And
IIT Delhi, yeah, yes, ma'am.
and
So
third,
IIT
third
Delhi, if
is,
you go
do you
to,
cover? Do you also cover Ayurveda and other alternate medical practices, or just allopathy? These are the three questions I have.
Yajna, can you take these?
Ma'am, IU's treatment is already covered in this policy, like as per the guideline of Government of India, right? Ayurvedic, Unani, homeopathic treatments are covered under the group medical policy, which is also covered under this policy as well. Not only allopathic treatment, but for taking the IU's benefit, the member need to be hospitalized in a government authorized hospital. The hospital must be authorized by the Government of India, like Patanjali Center or centers in Bangalore. The hospital should be recognized by the Government of India. You can take the benefit of Ayush treatment under this policy.
And what about the other questions I had? Whether you have
So,
siblings or
yeah.
non-married partners?
Ma'am, siblings and not married partner are not allowed under this policy. Basically, most of the, like, as it's a group policy, okay, so direct dependents are only covered, and siblings and not married couples option is not there under this policy.
Okay, and handbook is on your website, you said.
Handbook in IIT Delhi official website. You can get the handbook details from the IIT Delhi official portal.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you. So next is Mr. Shiva Prasad.
Yes, I have a few questions. There one question is that suppose you have already another policy, how does the claim goes? You should not say the one policy that you take from other policy says you take from other, and no one reimburses. This is question number one. The second thing, my problem, which I had once registered for a group insurance policy, and what happened 1 year, it was everything looked very rosy, and we immediately registered. And second year, suddenly they raised premium by almost 200%. And then we found that it was just not making any sense. And then eventually the entire thing fell apart. So I think, is there a surety that this policy will continue for some time? Because we are sort of a scattered set of alumni. So this is something which bothers me. And third thing is that I have found in many of the policies that there are some partial deductions. For example, not more than 10% can be paid for room rent. Not more than 20% can be paid for surgery charges. Is there some partial deductions, or you can take the entire amount in any sort of thing? And my last question is that the 30th January or 31st January is little too early. There are hardly 10 days. So can this be extended?
So extension, we will see if we want to extend the deadline, because until unless we keep a deadline, it will be difficult for the care team to come up with the policy. We'll revisit the decision among the Policy Bazaar care team and the executive committee. What can be the best possible thing done? So that for the 31st January is the deadline. We'll try to extend it if it's possible, but for now we will have to contend with 31st Jan. The other questions, Yajna, can you take them?
Sure, sir. So regarding the first query, which you have, like you are having any base policy or any kind of policy from any from any partner, any insurance company, and if you're taking this policy, so the first question was that most of the insurance companies are not providing claim from both the policies, But as per the insurance company, as per our claim processing, partial claim settlement option is there. By any chance, what is partial claim settlement? Let me give you the example with, like I am working in Policy Bazaar. Policy Bazaar have given me a sum assured of 5 lakh rupees, and I am taking a top-up policy of 10 lakh rupees from IIT Delhi. And by any chance, the hospital bill, which is goes for like 8 lakh rupees or 9 lakh rupees and 15 lakh rupees. I can get a claim from 5 lakh rupees by my Policy Bazaar team, and I can get another claim from my IIT Delhi policy. If the hospital consider a cashless panel and hospital agrees to provide that benefit, by any chance, if hospital is not providing the cashless benefit in both the policies, if they're having some internal agreement, they can file a claim from only one policy. You are having that reimbursement facility as well. But filing the reimbursement facility, that option is already always there. You can file a partial claim from the IIT Delhi policy if you have already consumed your base policy from irrespective of anyone from your retail based policy or your from corporate policy. You can take the partial claim for your corporate policy, IIT Delhi policy. So partial claim processing facility is already there. You can take the benefit of partial claim policy for settlement.
Okay.
And regarding the second point, which you asked, regarding if you are paying the premium of 10,000 rupees this year, it will be increased like 200% next year. But as per this particular policy, the premium will be calculated on the basis of age bracket. There is being age slab, which is already there in this policy, like 36 to 45. There is a slab of 10 year. The premium will be remain same for this particular age tenure, and it will be completely depend up to the complete claim ratio of this particular group. Committee group.
So, sir, I would like to come in here. So, we have already built in certain checks to make this policy long, long life. That's why we had to keep certain, negative lists, certain PED waiting period of 1 year. So, after consulting few of our alums who are insurance, who have worked in the field of insurance, taking feedback from Policy Bazaar and the experience of other alumni associations of running this kind of a voluntary policy, we have tried to build in those checks so that this policy is a long-term policy and does not fail in the ground. So we expect it to do decent in the coming years, should not be a problem. And Policy Bazaar being there should be able to get us similar quotes every year.
My last question was about the partial detectability. If there is a particular percentage on each item, item wise, that you cannot take more than 10% on this, not more than 15% on this, not more than 5% on this, so that also sometimes creates an issue.
Technically, yes,
policy, as I have covered in the presentation, there is no element-wise capping. Like we have not restricted any particular element with any particular sum assured wise. You can take a claim of up to 100%. So you can take the claim up to the complete sum assured. Yes, there are some deductions which might happen for the non-payable item, non-consumable item, but there is no particular limitation or particular percentage which we can directly tell to, because non-consumable item depends to surgery. Like if I'm going for a heart surgery, might be hospital charging 5,000 rupees out of 1 lakh rupees of bill. If I'm going for a COVID treatment, the main use of consumable items were there. So the consumable items will not be paid by any insurance company. Apart from that, there is no capping. For room rent, as we already told you, single sharing private room is there. You can take a claim room of single sharing private room in case of hospitalization for a normal room. For an ICU, you can take an actual bill amount. So there is no particular like limitation in this policy that insurance company will pay provide this particular limitation through this particular claim. You can take the claim up to the sum assured.
Okay, I would like to talk to somebody and get many of the other things one by one clarified. Then
you can connect to the.
I give my phone number on the chat box. So
you can connect to Rohit Rajput or me. I have given the. I hope you can see my screen. I have bold that.
Symbols are so tiny. It's almost difficult to read for me.
You just drop your mobile number in the chat. We'll connect.
That I have done. That I have done.
Sure, sir.
Next, I would request Mr. Chandan Kumar. And after Mr. Chandan, Dr. Narendra Tiwari can. Chandan, please go ahead with the question.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, my query was regarding the premium, and I am scrolling the IIT Delhi alumni page, and I am not getting that premium amount what I asked for.
So the premium will be shown once you move from the IIT Delhi page to the Policy Bazaar or their portal where you put in all the details, then including your age, your family's age, whoever are being insured, your diseases, any pre-existing, then based on all this data, the premium will be calculated and shown to you. There is no Excel sheet which can be given roughly.
Policy Bazaar means there is a particular portal for IIT Delhi.
So yes, sir. So if you have seen our website, there is a
Insurance is
link.
there.
Enroll here. Enroll here is a point. Once you click on enroll here, then it takes you to the next portal where you can punch in all your details and then find out the pricing. If you're
Okay.
not able to do it, these are the numbers they can help you with it.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chandan?
Yeah, sorry. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, so I have one quick question. So see, I want to take this policy for my. I want to add my parent-in-law as my dependent, and he is already having a CKD situation right now. Now I heard that there will be a waiting period for it. What will be that waiting period if he is already having that disease? And second question I have is what is deductible? How we define that?
Chandan, we are not allowed to do so. Male guys are not allowed to do parents-in-law due to certain limitation of the IDA from what I got from the care team. So this is the answer to the first question. Second is deductible in the sense if you opt for there are two type of policy. One is the super top-up policy. If you choose a 50 lakhs sum insured 10 lakhs deductible, means first 10 lakhs has to be paid either by your own pocket or from any other insurance. After 10 lakhs, this amount will be covered in this
Okay.
policy of that super top-up policy.
Okay, got it. So I cannot add my parent-in-law, you are saying?
Yes, the main members cannot admit. Right, Yajna? I'm right because I asked the same question.
In addition to Gaurav sir, Chandra sir, like cross selection of parent or double set of parent is not allowed, but you can take single set of parent. Like if I'm the alumni, I can take either my father, mother, or father-in-law, mother-in-law. I can't take cross selection of parents.
No, no,
Just
I'm asking straightforward about for my parents-in-law. That's it. Not my parents, but
Only
just for my
parent-in-law,
parent-in-law. Yes,
you can take that policy.
I can take that. Okay, fine. Thanks.
Mr. Uday Kiran and then Vandita Sahai.
So thank you for this session.
Sorry, I didn't get answer about the waiting period. My bad.
Sorry, what was the question?
For the waiting period, for my parent-in-law, if I am adding them, what will be the waiting period for them? Pre-existing disease.
1 year is the general
Pre-existing
waiting
year,
period.
1 year is the waiting period.
1 year.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
You have to go through the good health declaration. Once the proposal accepted by the insurance company, it will be covered up post 1 year. 1 year.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Uday Kiran and Vandita
Yeah.
Sahai.
So thank you for this session. I'm concerned about the continuation of this policy. Like going forward, like will it be continued? Like once we enroll in this policy, currently I'm like 42. So I'm concerned about like how long will this policy be continued? Like are you looking for any minimum number of enrollees in this policy, or is it like if you have fewer people, you will be able to continue?
So this policy is expected to be continued there. We have built in certain checks and balances. And for the minimum number, I'm not sure if we are looking for any minimum number. Maybe Yajna can help with that. Yajna, is there any minimum number that we need?
Sir, on that particular point, I will, as of now, there is no minimum number, but I will check with Gaurav and the insurance company. But it was, as of now, there is no minimum number.
All right.
Sir, I think so. More important is getting, insurance done instead of, seeing the number of alumni enrolling into the policy. It totally depends upon an individual and an alumni to how important this insurance policy is for them. Either it is for parents or either it is for, alumni directly. So we are not looking at a, number of alumni, but we are providing the benefit which alumni association had decided to give to the alumni of IIT.
Right.
Thanks, Gaurav. That answers the question. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vandita, please go ahead.
I'm father of Vandita. Sister is an alumni of IIT. Now, she had a health insurance plan with PNB MetLife, which had a tie-up with Care for 2 years. Then the tie-up was discontinued, and then she had a 1-year plan with Care independently. Now, after 3 years, we have not had a very good experience with Care. Now, what do you suggest? Should we continue with Care? Or what is the advantage of switching over with your Mediclaim health plan? Number two, regarding this parents, do the parents necessarily have to be dependent, or independent parents can also be included with the IIT alumni? Is my question clear?
Sir, independent parents can also be included into the policy.
Okay.
And sir, if I talk about Care Health Insurance, they have a claim settlement ratio of more than 96% right now, and this is one of the renowned company as per IRDA. So getting the policy done through Policy Bazaar, it totally depends upon how we are managing your claims and all. So we have been managing a lot of claims in the corporate segment right now, and in the other institutes as well. So we are serving IIT Kanpur, we are serving IIT Kharagpur as well. Okay.
My point is there any advantage in switching over to your Policy Bazaar, or should we continue with Care as we are?
Sir, you can continue with Care as well.
Okay. But what about the including the parents?
Sir, for the parents, you can take the policy as a you can opt in for the base parents policy as well, or else you can opt in for the super top up parental policy also.
No, in that case, do we continue with Care or do we come to you?
So, Vandita, I would answer this. So, firstly, Policy Bazaar is a broker. They are not the insurance provider.
Correct.
Through us, also, this policy is being underwritten by the Care first. So, if you are already running a Care policy, this is also a Care policy. You have to go through all the terms and conditions, what benefit you are getting first. Second, parents is a separate policy. You have the option. If you have a policy of Care running for you and your spouse and kids, and you want to buy a policy only for your parents, that is an option available to you. You can only choose a policy, whether base or top up, for your parents only. All right. I hope your question is answered. Mr. Ambuj Gupta and then Mr. Advait Pohekar. Others, can you please raise your hands and then we will come to you sequentially.
Yep, thanks. I have two questions. First, can you summarize all the benefits of this policy in terms of price and terms? I understood the one benefit is like waiting period, but I'm in like my late 20s, so that doesn't seem like a great benefit to me. So a summary of all the benefits in terms of price and terms, say comparing it to a top selling policy on Policy Bazaar or a usual comparable policy would be very much appreciated. So it's a question and a comment at the same time. And second is, if I enroll for myself right now, and if I get married 2 or 3 years down the line, what will be the procedure and what will be the impact on including my spouse and kids into this policy? Will the premium increase, and how will that happen?
Okay, so every year, Ambuj, you have to renew this policy. Once you get married, then and you add your spouse, and after a few years you add your kid, the premium will increase as the number of people are increasing, right? This is for the base policy. Top up, I don't think it will increase, it will remain the same.
Right, okay, thank
you.
you.
For the comparison part, we will work on it and share in this week, and try to give you a holistic comparison.
Yeah, that'll be very much appreciated, because at this time either I have to go through or like a great policy on Policy Bazaar and compare every small term on myself. But I think given the variety of questions we've been asked to, there'll be a great thing to have in general.
We will try. Otherwise, I think this will have a more friendlier terms and conditions and definitely friendlier pricing
Okay,
from
thank you
what
so
I've compared. But yes,
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
right. Mr. Advait Pohekar and then Mr. Niresh Kumar Jain.
So I own a retail care policy. So is it possible to convert to port it to this policy?
I think they have answered on the chat box that you cannot port a retail policy to a group policy.
Okay. And one more question, that generally for care specifically, I have seen that they have a condition that the country is divided into zones, and if you take a policy in a particular zone, you can't take admission into any hospital in another zone. And this wasn't really told very clearly when I have a care policy already. So many of my friends have bad experience with care regarding this, that this thing wasn't told clearly to them while taking the policy, and then later after getting admitted, their claim was rejected. And even for me, for 1 year, for 2 years, I was specifically told that there is no such thing, and in third year they said that there is such thing, and I have to be mindful of that. So I mean, care keeps on changing. It has a bad reputation, I will say, about this.
Advait, sir, on that point, let me answer your query. Currently, most of the insurance companies are providing the retail policies. This clause regarding bifurcation of the zone comes under the retail policies. Like if I am staying in Delhi, I know the Delhi air quality, the kind of risk which I am taking, it might not be that much in Odisha, my hometown. Okay, so for taking the policy in the retail part, most of the retail companies taking the premium accordingly to the zone wise. If someone is staying in Delhi, the premium will be calculated at that basis. If someone is staying in like South in Kerala, the premium will be calculated on the zone basis. If by any chance I am from Kerala side, my premium is 10 rupees, but I am if I'm staying in Delhi, the premium will be 14 rupees. But if I am from Kerala, sorry, Delhi, but I'm showing the my zone as per Kerala, at the time of claim, the claim will be completely denied. These conditions basically applies in retail segment. If I'm taking a personal retail policy from the any of the insurance company, it is not about KR. Like in currently insurance company, ICICI Lombard is the currently market leader for the retail segment policies. On that policy also, the zone wise bifurcation is already there. If I'm calling from any A zone, but I'm taking the policy by showing B zone, the claim will not be payable. But for the IIT Delhi, the policy which is offered by Policy Bazaar team, before finalizing care as an insurer, we have done the complete market benchmarking checklist, and we have done the finalist care with identifying some checkpoints. Post analyzing complete the details, there is no kind of like zone wise details. You can take the claim of in any geographical area within India. It is not about ki if you are that question already I have explained in the call. Like I'm from Yazana, from my base town staying in Delhi, I'm doing the job in Gurgaon, but my parents are staying in any particular village in Odisha, that they can take the claim irrespective of I am doing the work in other location. As it's a completely group Mediclaim policy, there will be no bifurcation or there any kind of restriction due to the zone wise bifurcation. That segment comes under the, like if by any chance if you are having any kind of motor policy, like I am having just example, I am having Creta, but I am so in the insurance policy I am showing it is a Sonnet. The claim obviously will not be payable because I am providing might be some incorrect information.
Okay, thanks for the information.
Right. Gaurav, I hope people are giving their numbers on the chat box. I hope your team is taking note of those numbers and the email IDs which is being shared.
Yes, sir. We are taking that.
Good, perfect. Next is Mr. Niresh Kumar Jain, and then we'll go to Vinay Bansal.
Yeah, hi. Thanks. So I was having question Like, so is it a group Mediclaim policy like we have in our corporates, or are we getting this policy as an individual member? That is first question. Second is that say I am already covered under group medical policy from my corporate. So what are the things I can do? Like I can buy a top up here, or I have to buy a base policy only. And in case I leave the corporate, what will happen to if I buy a top up?
So that's a personal decision first. Coming to the second question first.
Mm-hmm.
That's a personal decision. You can, if you are already covered with a base, you can choose top up only.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, in the future, if you, let's say, leave your job and they do not have any base policy, then you may be in a trouble, because coming to and taking a new base policy, if God forbids you'd have any diseases, it becomes a challenge, right?
Okay.
So this is a sensitive decision that you may take, either taking. So I would suggest anyone should have one base policy other than the corporate. This is my personal take.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe add on a top up to it. So I have my own personal base policy, and then I may add a top up policy. But one base policy other than your corporate should be going on. That is my personal, viewpoint.
Right. Right.
So first question was,
is it like similar to the corporate policy? Why I'm asking that is that if you take an individual, a health plan compared to a group kind of plan, there'll be a support from the company, both from insurance as well as TPA is better compared to as the individual thing. So
corporate has a better support. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I have seen. Yes.
So we expect it to be a better support. So that is why, because we as a group can question Policy Bazaar team ki why Mr. Nilesh or anyone is not being served properly. Because we have a bench strength of, let's hope, 1,000 alums or 2,000, 4,000 lives. Yes. So this is a corporate policy, group health policy.
In addition to that, sir, I would also like to add, there have been instances where we, keep on reviewing the settlement of claims. And we have witnessed that at times where insurance companies are not settling down the claims properly, we observe the wrong deductions or wrong rejections of these cases. If I may give you the stats, we reviewed about 6,000 claims in last 2 quarters as Policy Bazaar, and we identified about 630 claims which were justifiable and were supposed to be paid and were wrongly deducted with the kind of settlements. We an amount of 2.35 CR reversed back to the insured members, and that is the kind of value that we try to curate for our insured customers. So that is the case that we also apply on our corporate insurance. These stats that I just showed to you and told to you were of corporate insurance benefit only. The policy that we are discussing here is also group Mediclaim insurance, which can be bought by a corporate, an institution, or a community together.
Okay. Just one more thing. So will we have any SPOC from the IIT Delhi side in case of any such help required, or directly we have to contact Policy Bazaar?
So in that case, sir, the Alumni committee, who's the key decision maker and who helped us out in customizing the flexibility of this insurance policy, and we have underwritten the policy under their guidance. Like they have also mentioned that they have taken support from their alumni who have been from the insurance industry to curate this overall plan. They are the one who would be given the bird eye view visibility of how Policy Bazaar is performing, and that way we'll also do monthly review of all these claims which will eventually be getting settled. And if at all there are rejections been witnessed in the claim or have reductions, those would be called out to them right in front.
Okay, so just one last question on this. So TPA role will be played by you, Policy Bazaar, is it, or there will be different TPA?
We'll be the servicing partner. We'll be monitoring the support that insurance company would be delivering in terms of claim settlements. But we are also coming up with a wellness platform of Visit Health, which we couldn't cover upon on this session. This application will enable the user to take unlimited doctor consultation, financial, legal, lawyer consultations. These are unlimited consultations that the alumni can take if they associate with us in this group Mediclaim policy.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Otherwise, the TPA over here would be in-house. There is no as such TPA. There is only one servicing partner, which is Policy Bazaar for Business, who will ensure that all of your claims would be supported by Policy Bazaar during the claim experience. And,
Right. So basically, all the bills, etc., will come to you.
no. Eventually, you can use our platform. The Visit Health application platform will be ours. And since we have our API integration back with these insurance company, we ourselves get our hands onto these documents. Otherwise, there can be an instance where you are directly sharing the claim documents with the insurance company, and insurance company will have to act upon it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Vinay Bansal, and then to Bhavna Ahuja.
Yeah, hi.
Please.
Yeah, I think one of the common concerns I'm seeing at the chat box, and I also have this same concern. I'm already in a policy, individual policy for last 12 years. Now, if I port to, there's no porting allowed technically into the care. But right now, thankfully, I don't have any disease or my family doesn't have anything. So I can wait for, like, I can port easily. I can go directly here. But the main concern that's coming is that how long this policy will survive. People have answered that the next year it will be renewed on the basis of number of claims and things like that, which happens this year. But what's the experience of this group insurances in other IITs or similar institutes? So basically, it's like typically things work in the same way. So is there any number of, like, what's the oldest such institutional policies have been taken, like, for other IITs or similar institutes?
So, sir, Policy Bazaar in that case have been renewing the policy of Alumni Association IIT Kanpur. This has been a constraint renewal that we have procured from their Alumni Association. The major reason for this is that we have got a control over the increase in premium. Now, how we were able to do that was because we understood the kind of utilization that was coming up from the demography who was insured by the policy. And that way, we were able to negotiate well with the insurance company. The kind of restrictions that are already applied in our current policy benefits us considering the consumer behavior of ours, the right age, what kind of diseases are there, whether the mutation of diseases would eventually be covered by this policy or not. So all of those points are considered very well, and we have added those policy. There will not be a bleeding of the policy when it comes to the exploitation of overutilizing it, but it will eventually benefit us in terms of filing up for our claims. Even if there are situation where I am already getting an insurance from my employer, how this policy can benefit me even in that instance. God forbid, if there is someone in my family who's suffering from cancer, if I take a top-up plan from the Alumni Association of IIT Delhi, this can eventually benefit me over and above to the insurance that is provided to me by my employer. Or maybe there could be nuances where my retail health insurance is not providing me enough coverage and I'm underinsured with the kind of sum insured. But having this policy as an over and above policy can benefit me for a longer term. In your particular case, where you are confident enough, where you say that you are healthy enough and you do not look forward to file any claim, you need not to be worried about the increase in premium, because the kind of cappings and restrictions that we have in the policy will keep the policy viable and sustainable for long term.
Got it. And my question was, how many years, what's the longest duration you have already renewed in other IITs? 4 years, 5 years, 6 years? Like, what's the longest duration till date?
So there have been nuances where these policies have been running up for more than 7 years as well. And Policy Bazaar have been renewing these policies for 3 consecutive years as already for a couple of institutions. There are private institutions as well, like Sharda University, and we are coming up with our new enrollment drives with other private universities as well. But the longest that we have serviced is of 3 years.
And is there any case where a group policy was stopped because of some issues? Do you know of any case where
there have been an instance in the industry, not with us, but we were on the positive side. Unfortunately, there was one policy by an IIT Alumni Association only, which was earlier placed with a new entrant of broker who couldn't service it well, and hence they asked Policy Bazaar to come in between and service it well. So that way we were able to take up that policy and could manage it better. In fact, the ICR and the overall claim ratios got positive ever since we started handling that policy. In fact, the CSAT report that we have recently published has also improved there.
Got it. Got it. So basically, but the same policy was continued. It's just the servicing company was changed.
Same insurance company. We took the ownership, and the Alumni committee asked Policy Bazaar to take that up, and we started servicing that. And eventually, in fact, there was an instance where the alumni were not even been provided with the tax invoices. As soon as we took the ownership of that policy and started servicing that, we immediately released the tax invoices for ITR filings for the various alumni.
Understand. And just in case the care doesn't work out well, they're not able to support well on the insurance, then if you as the alumni association want to switch to another insurance company, then I'm sure it will be again starting of the waiting period and everything will happen with the new insurance company. Am I right?
Sir, although that will not be a case in our policy, but even if that at all happens, which is rarest of its case, we'll have to start off with the overall enrollment drive again, is what the answer is, to be precise.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Next, we can go to Bhavna Ahuja and then to Vikas Kumawat. Then we'll, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we'll close this webinar and share the recording with everyone.
Thank you. My question is that I already have a Niva Bupa, my retail policy, and I compared both policies from this corporate and then retail one for the apple to apple comparison. So what do you think which would have a less premium?
Ma'am, we'll have to check because like you mentioned, you have a Niva Bupa insurance policy. In that case, what kind of terms and conditions are there provided to you by Niva Bupa will have to be compared. If there are conditions like waiting period or maybe room rent, proportionate deduction, we'll have to compare.
Yeah, actually that policy I had before the 5 years, it's continuing, and that waiting period is not, and actually that's a reassured 2.0. You would have been acquainted with the terms and conditions and unlimited recharge.
That's a reassurance benefit. Ma'am, in that case, I would request if you could share across that policy copy to us on the provided email ID, and our team will evaluate the comparison between these two policies.
Sure, then I would have left never, because as far as I compared, I was getting a high premium in this, and I was expecting in corporate premium should be low. So could you get me that if I'll pay the premium high, then what would I be getting in terms of other things and all?
Certainly, ma'am. We'll do the comparison and we'll share across the individual report, ma'am.
Sure. So I have already left my number. I hope anyone would contact me for that.
Certainly.
Bhavna ma'am, we have noted your number. I think we will be giving you a call by tomorrow end of the day.
Sure. Another thing is, suppose I have corporate policy too, and I have that too, and I want to continue that, but I want to take this too, or like I can take parental top up from here.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Yes, ma'am. Standalone policies can be opted for here.
Okay. Then we can discuss when you'll call. I'll discuss my other doubts there. Yeah. Thank you. The third one is, I think it could be beneficial for others too.
Sure.
That every year, care would be our provider or some other. It would change
It is
yearly.
beneficial to have a same insurer, but like you mentioned, we'll prefer the competitive, servicing partner, not only in terms of prices, but also in terms of the kind of services that they look forward to deliver to you as their prestigious client. Hence, on that note, there have been instances where the other alumni associations have moved to different insurers as well, and they also had the taste of different kind of service deliverables that they can eventually compare to. So
But that won't affect our waiting period and all.
Not at all, ma'am, not at all.
And other services also means like what we have joined, that terms and condition at least would be the same, if not better.
Certainly, ma'am. So these conditions eventually gets applied within that same policy tenure. It's a 365 days policy tenure period. All of these conditions are getting applied within that same tenure. And we, as Policy Bazaar, gives you the ID which we carry forward with your record. So that ways we can switch to the insurer, and that ways the overall premium negotiations will do on the basis of utilization of claims only.
Another very awkward question, but still I want to ask. Suppose now I am the IT alumni and my whole family is covered. Suppose something happens to me and I'm no more. So what happened to that policy? If I don't have any other policy and I'm completely dependent on this policy, so my other family members would be able to carry on this policy?
They
Or
can renew the policy, ma'am. This is the option available in other alumni association policies as well, but they will have to give us a clear declaration of the alumni if is no more, and that way all the terms and condition has to be well answered by them. There cannot be any misinformation that would be hidden by the IRDI.
the thing is like we take the policy because so that to cover this waiting period and everything. That's why we take before time. So later on to start a new policy, it would be difficult for anyone. That's why I'm just asking. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Vikas and then to Mr. Dhruv.
Yeah, thanks. So I want to ask, like, there are two plans. One is base policy and another is parent-based policy. But I can see, like, in base policy also there are parents and parent-in-laws are covered. So how it is different, like, in parent-based policy and base policy?
So there's some 4 policies. There are not 2 policies. So base policy for alumni, spouse and kids. Base policy number 2 is the base policy for parents or in-laws. Third is the top up for alumni, spouse and kids. Fourth is the top up for parents and parents-in-laws, parents or parents-in-laws. So there are 4 different policies.
Okay, I just checking the poster that mentioned on this IIT Delhi Alumni Association website. So there it mentioned in both the policies that parents and parent-in-laws are there, even in the base policy as well. So that is one thing. Okay, another thing is like, is there like, let's say I'm not married, so will be my brother and sisters will be covered in any policy? Is there like anything like that?
No, sir. These dependents are not allowed.
Yeah. So
We've
siblings
already
are not
answered that.
eligible for the policy, sir. But eventually, if you look forward to getting married, you can enroll your spouse during the enrollment, sir, while the policy gets renewed.
Okay, so in between, if I get married, I cannot basically add them into the policy.
You can, sir. You can. You will have to, report that newly married dependent within 45 days from the date of your marriage.
Okay, then only I will be able to do this.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, that only I want to ask this. Thank you.
Ms. Bhavna, please.
No, I think she's spoken. So it's me.
Okay, Dhruv sir, please. Yeah.
So I have a GIPSA policy for many years. GIPSA meaning one of these government guys, United India Insurance. The problem is that these guys have defined packages. So for example, my father went through cataract. My mother went through a cancer operation for the tonsil. And for each of them, there was a predefined package where the GIPSA company, the insurance company said, this is what we will pay. And that amount was much, much smaller than the actuals. So for instance, in my father's case, we paid, I think, 90,000 and the coverage was only 27,000. Now, in this policy that we are looking at in care, does that exist? Meaning you have packages, or it doesn't matter what the amount is?
Sir, ideally, the kind of medical inflation that is turning up these days, a lot of insurance companies have started their own in-house packages, and the insurance industry, by the Ministry of IRDI, has also understood that they will have to do something about it. The kind of exploitation that hospitals are coming up with. Hence, the entire set of PSUs, the public sector insurers, they have curated this GIPSA package on a negotiated rate of treatments on the standard.
Yeah, but the problem is many hospitals don't agree with that. That's the problem.
Certainly. But with us, in our case, we are dealing with CARE, and CARE is not the public sector company. It's a private insurance company. which does not apply GIPSA packages at all. These
So
days,
there are,
insurance.
so there's no concept of package, which means irrespective of the amount, as long as it is covered by whatever policy you have taken, it will
Policy
be
terms
paid.
and conditions. Yes. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I think Varun is left.
Yes, hello. I actually want to discuss about the policy. I bought my policy from HDFC Bank. So I talked to someone from Policy Bazaar that to convert it to different policy or transfer it, but they said it's not possible to transfer my policy. Is that truth?
Yes, sir. The retail policy that you have bought from your bank assurance partner, that policy you can eventually put into a retail policy, but you cannot put that into the group Mediclaim policy put to you by the Alumni Association, sir. But with the kind
So
of
can I buy
term experience that you have had with HDFC or the policy that you have placed with, uh, it depends on insurer to insurer with what kind of history you have had with that individual retail insurance policy, whether they would like to take the ownership of your risk that you would like to underwrite with them.
the main concern is that I have gone through since 4 years with this policy. My all the waiting periods are over. So if I go to a different policy vendor, I would have to go through that waiting period again if I cannot transfer. So simple question: can I transfer to you what you're offering right now?
So you can, again, like I said, it depends on your claim history and your experience with the current insurer. With that note, you can share the policy details with us, but you cannot get your policy quoted into the group Mediclaim policy offered to you by the Alumni Association. That's a group Mediclaim, policy, and you are talking about the retail policy.
Understood. Thank you.
Mr. I think Ambuj is already, we have gone to you.
I have one quick question to follow up. Like, is it compulsory to enroll in the policy just in this year, or can I wait out this year and start enrolling from the next cycle?
So you, Nakul, please.
सर अब हिंदी में बोलते हैं जब जागो तब सवेरा सर. To be very honest, we'd insist you to get yourself added into the policy, and the only reason is that you should be covered by the group Mediclaim policy offered to you by a community like this, because a lot of other communities are still not aware of this, and eventually they roll out messages like we need to support our fellow alumni, let's donate for him and all. It should not be the case in our community. Hence, we look forward for a fruitful participation where majority of us should be enrolling our dependents. But for sure, if you do not enroll yourself into this particular policy, there can be a condition that may get applied next year with a kind of waiting period. So again, depends on the kind of utilization that will turn up in the current year policy, whether the new entrants next year will be provided up with the same terms and conditions or not.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Nakul, can you take up the rest of the webinar? You can call out the names who are raising their hands.
So Dr.
And
Nand
then-
Kumar, I think so. So you can ask. So you are on mute.
Okay. Now, Dr. Nandkumar, I am 72 years old, number one, and I am covered with the NIC policy for the last 15, 18 years. So if I want to change to your policy, what are the advantage I am going to get? Because my children are more than 24 years and my parents are not there. My wife is there. And we are covered for the 5 lakhs, myself and my wife also 5 lakhs. And we are having some bonus 2.5 lakhs. So if I join, what are the advantage I am going to get under your policy, IIT Alumni Group policy?
Sir, primarily, to be honest, the right policy for you here would be a top-up policy at least, with the kind of any existing diseases that you or your dependent may have. You can compare it with the kind of medical expenses that can turn up uh, on the treatments of that related disease. And that ways you can evaluate whether you are underinsured or insured properly or not. And on that basis, you can opt for a top-up policy first. Second is that you get the assistance by Policy Bazaar. If God forbid you are into a situation of utilizing the insurance policy, in that instance, partial claim can be opted for. So certain amount can be covered from the NIA policy and the rest can be covered from the policy that you would purchase on behalf of the Alumni Association.
So who will decide how much will be the premium? Suppose if I buy for the another 10 lakhs, what will be the premium roughly if I want to join?
Sir, the premiums are predefined, like it's offered for a group already. There's a class of age group that is defined, and the rates are been deployed into the web portal itself.
But it is not there in the manual which we have given. In
Certainly.
that, the
So
premium is not defined.
So it is actually available on the website. And if you may say, we can arrange a callback which can assist you with the kind of premium details and the overall enrollment participation if you are keen to take up the policy.
Mr. Nakul, let me tell, when you say it is on the web and it is not defined in your booklet, then there is a lot of jugglery in between. Because if you define in the booklet, then it is written document. Because if you put in the web, so many things people put and it is lost after some time.
No worries, sir. So what we'll do is we'll try to release a PDF file in which a chart can be placed. Actually, a heavy permutation combination logics have been deployed on the rater, and it is not easy for a layman to read that rater. We can release the raters to have that clear transparency, and that way we can incorporate the additional PDF pages in the same file, sir.
You see, for the last 2 years, I am finding every time they are increasing 15%. Earlier it was 80,000, then they put 93,000 for both myself and wife. Now they have put 1,05,000 just for 5 lakhs insurance. That's why I'm asking that there should be some either rate. We don't claim for the last 2-3 years. We have not claimed any money at all. But the way they are putting addition every month, every year, it is exorbitant.
To be very honest, the kind of conditions that usually gets applied onto the premium calculations includes medical inflation as well, sir. So any percentage of utilization that turns up on the group level, we anyways expected a medical inflation of 9% to 13% in the last financial year only. That way, the increase in premium is one of the major component which eventually gets calculated due to medical inflation and other factors. That's where we comes into the picture and try to negotiate with insurance company. Policy Bazaar basically holds 93% of market share, sir, in the online business, and that way we have the capacity of arm twisting the insurance company to get better discounts, and hence we use that same tactic in our policy negotiations as well. Our team members like Shashank Gupta was available and part of the call has also negotiated well enough to get this premium broke down. But with higher age limit, the premium will also be on a higher side.
The last question, as you told that you will be giving the PDF in the booklet which you share with the group, so that you do and the all conditions also.
Certainly, sir. The terms and conditions are already predefined in that PDF, but we'll also incorporate the raters.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Hi, are there any questions from anyone?
Yeah, actually, I was trying to go through the link which you shared. So I click on enroll now, and then on the next page I get proceed button. It says the user is not verified, not allowing me to proceed.
Sir, have you logged into the website? And I think this can be taken. So you have to first log in into the IIT Delhi Alumni website. This is for verification that you are an alumni. Only alumni can avail the benefit of this policy. If you have logged in, then only you can go through.
So
if you are still facing the issue, you can drop a mail. The team will get in touch with you one-to-one and then help you solve it. So, but you have to log in first and then only.
yeah, it asks for login. I used my Gmail ID to log in, Google login.
So Google, so it has to be. So have you used the website beforehand?
I don't think so. Maybe a long time back.
Then drop a mail or we will take it to you. Drop a mail at office at Alumni or to me. We'll have to verify from the backend that taking all your credentials that you are an alumni, and we will whitelist you. Then only you'll be able to log in and go ahead with the policy.
Is it possible to put in the chat this mail IDs which you just said?
I will do both the IDs.
And so preferably if you can also share a screenshot, that would also be helpful to us to understand what error you are getting.
Sure. Please share the mail IDs.
Yes. So any other questions from anyone? Then we can go ahead and unmute.
I have one question.
Yes, please, Gwen. I will mute. Please go ahead, sir. Ask.
Yeah. Okay. So, see, currently I have a base policy for my parents. Okay, and I'm planning to take a top up from the alumni policy. Right now, for whatever reason, suppose I'm not able to renew or continue my base policy. Then in future some claim arises, can I still make a claim from the top up policy? Is it allowed? Hello?
Sir, can you please repeat the query? Actually,
okay, sorry. So what I'm saying is that I have a base policy right now for my parents. Okay. And I plan to take the top up from the IIT alumni. Okay. Now, suppose for whatever reason that, in future, suppose that base policy, I don't continue or it lapses. And if I have to file a claim and can I, make that claim from this top up policy? Will that be allowed?
Sir, filing a claim from directly top-up policy is not allowed because in the top-up policy there is already a clause of deductible clause. Deductible basically refers to you have to consume the threshold amount irrespective of from you are having any kind of retail policy, corporate policy, or you are bearing from own pocket. Like if you are having 5 lakh or deductible, you have to consume first that amount from the base policy. That's why we suggested the alumni who don't have any kind of policy before. They don't have any kind of insurance policies. They should opt base policy first, then top up policy. But if any alumni is having already a base policy, they can take the top up policy.
Understood. So what you're saying is that they will be deductible in that case, either to the base policy or I have to bear the expenses.
Yes, exactly.
Amount, right? Okay.
So the deductible amount has to be borne by something, either a policy or self, and then whatever above that amount will be covered in the policy.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yajna, can you just check? A couple of people have said that the policy with our servers are not responding. Sir, whoever is not able to log in can just drop a mail on the mail ID shared, as well as the 2 mail IDs which I just wrote. We will get back to you. It might be the error that you are not verified user on the portal. So that could be one of the problems.
Sure. I am dropping a mail right now.
Yeah. Mr. Nan Kumar, I think you had one more query and you can.
Yeah, why we have chosen CARE as a health insurance provider in this policy? May I know? Because the reason is that many people have given me bad feedback about them. That's why I'm asking this.
Okay.
Sir, on the parameters where we had come.
Nakul, you're not audible.
Is it claims payment ratio as well as the premium? Hello, sir, am I audible?
Yes, now you are.
So not only apart from the premium amounts or the raters that they have submitted, but also on the kind of claim settlement ratios. We understand that the experiences that have been shared across by our fellow alumni are not that good about the insurer, but these cases needs to be looked into in detail because we have witnessed nuances where insurance companies like ICICI Lombard also rejects cases about 3 to 4% in their claim settlement ratio. With the care, they rebranded themselves from Religare. Earlier, their old name was Religare, and they have been into the business from 2012. And since then, they have been holding up their claim settlement ratios with above 95%. We only see one major gap, that is the policy terms and conditions, if are not made well explained to someone who is interested to purchase it and someone who is looking forward to redeem it at the time of hospitalization. There should be a complete transparency in terms of the understanding, and that's what we handle with the kind of claim that is turning up with the team of our Medico from Policy Bazaar. We try to assist an individual throughout end to end, with their claim experience. But Care not only outmarked the other insurance company on the premium, but also on various other parameters. But we also wanted to keep our prices competitive so that our fellow alumni could eventually participate in terms of the policy.
Mr. Nakul, one thing, when this policy bazaar came into business in the medical insurance, hello?
Sir, we are in market from last, I think, sir, 2008 we started, sir, Policy Bazaar. And this is the company, it has been founded by one of the fellow alumni of IIT Delhi only, Mr. Yashish Dhaya.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Good. So you will, roughly I'm asking for the 10 lakhs, what is the approximate cost for the premium? If I go for the another, besides my NIC policy, if I go for the IIT Alumni Group policy, so what is the roughly for the 73 years old person? Rough.
Yajna, sir, see, it totally depends upon the policy which you are having right now. We have to compare that policy apple to apple. So what we can do is we can arrange a call back to you by tomorrow end of the day, and I think so Yajna or Rohit would explain you the benefit upon the policy which you have right now and comparatively to the Alumni Association is offering. And we
Again,
can,
you are saying that for 1 year I will not be able to claim any money. Only after 1 year
yes, sir.
period
See,
it will be.
we have two different policies. One is the base policy, which you are running right now with NIC. We will highly recommend you to take the super topper plan, in which you can enhance your sum insured with a very lesser premium. So that too, we will guide you what is the beneficial, what kind of policy is beneficial for you from Alumni Association.
Approximately for the 10 lakhs, what is the approximate? It
Uh,
may be plus minus.
Yajna, can you check the super topper plan for age of 72?
Sir, I would just like to clarify here, for the 1 year, you cannot claim for any pre-existing diseases. Otherwise, you can take claims. So any disease that you declare that you're already having, for that, there is a cooling period or a waiting period of 1 year. Otherwise, any accidents or a new medical condition coming up, you are insured and you can take the claims. Just a
Okay.
clarification from,
Okay.
I thought that was the query. Premium, the team will tell.
Okay, okay. Now, Rachna wanted to tell approximate for 72, 73 years old. What is the approximate premium for 10 lakhs?
10 lakh base policy, right, sir?
Yes.
10
Base,
lakh,
no.
10 lakh
Base is
super,
already
super
there
top
with
up.
me.
Super top up.
Top up.
Sure.
Okay, by that time you can reply other questions.
Mr. Prateek and then Dr. P. Bala can go ahead.
Yeah, just one question which I had. So when they say that we are supposed to get this policy during this year, is there some timeline or some deadline by which we have to register before that?
So the current timeline is to participate till 31st of January itself, and we will not provide any extension towards the enrollment. But the last day to submit in the overall participation is till 31st of January, because ultimately it will be unfair for those who have already purchased the policy, and if alumni would turn up after 31st January where they will have the need of claim, it will be unfair for them who have already, come into the group policy.
Understood. And do you also like, are you looking at some minimum number or some threshold beyond which you'll only offer, or like, is it,
Yes, sir, we are close to that number already. Hence, that ways we are,
what is that number, if
ensuring.
I may know?
So we cannot announce that number particularly because that will affect the overall participation. Sorry.
Got it.
Okay, I have logged into IITD website. My credentials are appearing in the IIT website. But when I try to enroll, the servers are not responding.
So we will take it. Nakul, I think your team can note it down and then you connect with Dr. P. Bala.
Certainly, sir. We are noting down these nuances and we'll upfrontly reach out to the fellow alumni.
There may be issues at the verification end, but we'll have to check in detail individually.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
I think lastly, Mr. MK is there.
Yes. Actually, one query is there. I have log into the portal and proceed for that. The amount which I am getting over here as compared to the market on Nivabupa and other is comparatively high. They have also top-up policy Nivabupa, this same policy you're providing at higher rate. So I couldn't understand what benefit I am getting from this one. If maybe I'm wrong, please correct me.
So maybe on that front, we can compare it on our parameters. Absolutely, on the parameters where we have, compared Niva Bupa and the other insurance company. We assure you that we did reach out to Niva Bupa with the plan and with the kind of demographies of age of the data that we have. And maybe the retail policy is viable to have, but with the specific terms and condition, we'll have to compare that which plan you are comparing of. But let me tell you, Niva Bupa was also part of the comparison report, and they were also given the fair opportunity to, participate in the insurance group Mediclaim policy of Alumni Association of IIT Delhi.
Also, when we enroll for the corporate insurance, when we enter in the corporate policy of health insurance, the day when we are there's no waiting period. But here the same waiting period as retail investor are having. So is this unjustified?
No, so
Because we
this
are
is
going
not
for group health
exactly
insurance
same.
only.
So it is not exactly similar to the retail insurance policy, sir. Like we mentioned that we want to make this policy viable for longer term and would want to see that what kind of claim trends is turning up in the current year policy. Also from a preview of controlling the increase in premium that can turn up in the upcoming year, the policy has been articulated in that same sense of putting up some restrictions on the policy utilization as well.
So I mean to say, in most of the group health policy, there's no waiting period. What I have seen in the market, in the corporate also. So why there's a waiting period if a person is opting for here and waiting for 1 year more? So that's from that point of view I'm asking.
So it's a simple maths, to be very honest. The kind of demography of average age group of our alumni and their dependents with the kind of survey that we have had, and the kind of average age group that corporates usually have in their group Mediclaim policy, the dynamics will not be close. It's quite different from the demographies. Hence, on that number, the overall group has been quoted on these raters by the insurance companies. But again, we'll have to compare on various different parameters. It will not, so like the retail policy usually have 3 years of waiting period. In our case, it's very limited on that front.
So it has to be compared 1 to 1, and then maybe we'll have the answers.
And Policy Bazaar will also charge something over this insurance policy.
So Policy Bazaar usually provides wellness, facilities, the platform from which we'll be extending our services, the kind
I
of
understand that is
teleconsultation.
the aggregator for the insurance. So that as aggregator, they will charge something extra on this.
So to be honest, we have deployed our wellness platform, which is Visit Health, and the kind of value-added features like doctor consultation, in-person doctor consultation, lab test bookings, and all of those
parameters as value-added services usually turns up to be our, major revenue-generating points. But preferably on these areas, we are not charging on that front, sir. It's a very well negotiated prices that we have bought for the kind of dynamics that the policy is, going to get placed for.
Mr. Sandeep, can you please go ahead?
Yeah. So my father has a existing heart condition and he is around 67. So he has been taking medications for the last 3 years. So in that case, what do you suggest, Mr. Nakul?
So your voice was breaking. Can you please come again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So my father has a heart ailment, existing heart condition, and he has been on medication for the last 3 years. The condition is not severe, it is stable, but still he has been on medication. So,
Understood. Sir, if you can please share across the OPD card or any ongoing treatment reference which he is undergoing, and that way our team can evaluate whether that will be categorized under the pre-existing diseases or would it be eligible for the coverage that you can look forward to have from the group Mediclaim policy by Alumni Association.
if it is considered as a pre-existing one, so then considering that, what do you suggest?
Sir, on that front, you will again have to compare with the other insurance policies that you may have the opportunity of. Usually, retail policies will not cover him, maybe due to the pre-existing diseases or maybe due to the exclusion. But that is something that we'll have to evaluate. And on that front, if even if there's a waiting period of 1 year, that is still good for him because going forward, even if it is not severe right now, it may require some good attention of hospitalization. And that way, then where the pre-existing disease would be covered for your father would eventually be beneficial for you and for him as well. When the disease would eventually get mutate, God forbid.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Deepak Bansal.
Yeah, I had few questions. So firstly, I was checking on the portal like the super top up premiums. So one of the anomalies like if I am selecting super top up of lesser amount, the premium is higher. And for example, for a 10 lakh deductible, if I select super top up of 25 lakhs, it's showing 1800 premium per year. But for 30 lakhs, it's showing 1400. So I'm slightly confused if something is wrong here, or is it like how is this pricing?
This should not be the case. 30 lakh and 10 lakh deductible, then maybe the team can get to you one to one. But this should not be the case because I checked for myself and it was not this case because I was opting for a similar policy like 10 lakh deductible and stuff. So I think there might be some issue, but we can connect with you one to one and then sort it out. Gaurav, can you just note down? Deepak, can you share a number on the chat and they will take it down and talk to you for this? But this should not be the case. Maybe we are
Yeah,
missing out on something.
yeah. That's why I was slightly confused if there is some glitch or something. Another question I had was like we talked about the zone-wise treatment for insurances in general. So if we have a different hometown state, right, and a different zone itself, and we are working in a different zone, so ideally, while buying the premium, which zone should we specify? Because like at the time of need, we may be in any zone, right? We are not sure which part of.
So, Deepak, to answer that, zone-wise distribution or premium calculations does not get applicable in our policy. We were discussing that earlier, where such conditions usually get applied in retail policy calculation. That too, my colleague gave an example of. Usually, we have seen Bangalore turning up with dengue cases, and that was Delhi NCR struggling with high AQI. That way, the premium usually gets calculated for retail policies. But in our case, it's a totally different, logic. It's the overall group which is considered for the valuation of policy proposal.
Okay, so I mean, like at the time of need, we can be in any zone in the country, right?
Certainly, absolutely. Even at the time of purchase, or maybe it's not even a question on the portal that can make any difference on the premium calculation or the claim settlement.
Got it. Because it was asking about PIN code, so that's why the question. Other question was about no claim bonus. Like in general, insurance policies provide no claim bonuses, right? So in this one, do we have that option?
So no claim bonuses usually gets benefited into the retail motor insurance of two-wheeler or four-wheeler, but in the health insurance retail policies, you usually get restoration benefit. Filing for no claim in the alumni policy would eventually benefit the overall group. If there is no claim and I would want to use another policy of mine, that would only benefit the claim utilization percentages of my current alumni group policy. That would help me in reduction of the overall raters in terms of premium inflations can be dealt with.
Is it something like this bonus? Is it something like bonus?
No, sir, it's not the bonus which can be given to an individual who is not filing up for a claim, but this can only help out on the overall group level if alumnis who are turning up taking the policy and that ways are not utilizing it and are relying on the other policies. That would only contribute to the community of keeping the utilization on the lower side, and the lower side of utilization will also keep the renewed raters to be on a lower side.
But in my case, basic is 5 lakhs, but the bonus shows it is 2.5 lakhs. That's why I'm asking. I have not claimed for last 15 years. So,
So in that sense, your retail policy would have been, providing you a restoration benefit as well as a increase in the overall sum insured as well.
no, same insurance is 5 lakhs from the beginning, and only they add the bonus, nothing else.
Sir, I think we have already spent 2 hours in this webinar. You can take these questions offline to Nakul or the team directly.
Okay, thank you.
I think we will take the last question from Mr. Tarun. We will have a periodic webinar once again, maybe considering the interest in a week's time. Let's take the last question from Tarun and we will close.
Before that, sir, Dr. Nand, I think so. Your premium for 10 lakh ka super topper would be 40,000 plus taxes.
It is 41,000 plus taxes.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hi, yes, Tarun, please.
Yeah, I have a question. My mother is having polycystic kidney disease. So, as I mentioned in this presentation, that genetic problems are not covered. So, is this particular disease covered under this? In short.
So to be very honest, understanding the genetic complications will require the proper doctor OPD consultation later. Would again request if you could share across the ongoing treatment papers with us, and that ways we can give you a better verdict whether that would categorize under the exclusion or can be covered in the policy.
And my second question is, I suppose if this disease is not pre-existing with me, and in certain span of years, yeah, suppose it got developed. So will that be insured as a,
That,
for
that
example?
will not be categorized in the pre-existing disease at all.
Okay.
Eventually, the slow growing of it can also be considered as non-congenital and non-existing, and that ways we can get it covered.
Okay, so in that case, could you please contact me on my number? I actually have shared that on the chat.
Certainly, sir. Will do.
Okay, thank you so much.
So I think we will close the webinar now. Thank you everyone for joining and showing overwhelming support. We had a very good, interesting session and a lot of questions were taken and a lot of doubts were cleared. We will do it. Maybe we'll plan one more next week. If you have any question, they have shared the numbers and the email. You can drop a text or a call, and we will get back to you, solving all your queries one to one. Let's get all maximum benefit from the group health insurance policy. Thank you everyone for joining the webinar. Thank you, Policy Bazaar team, for spending so much time with us.
Yeah, where are the
Thank
contact
you.
numbers?
So I think the contact number is also given on the alumni website also. If you go to the website, there is the insurance link. There the number and the email ID of the team is given. You can check from that also. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just a suggestion before you wrap up, please go through all the comments that have been posted so that none of the questions are remaining, because a lot of people had asked a lot of questions and many of them are not answered yet.
On the
On the chat, just see on the chat. So many people just take a snapshot of it, or like, so that you guys can like focus on.
So Arpit, we have done the same, and you may also expect us to release a FAQ PDF file as well very soon. With the
Right.
set of questions that were been asked in this webinar, we'll try to release an FAQ at the earliest by day after tomorrow, in which all of these questions will be answered along with some examples. If we can quote it, it would be better.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.
All right. Good night, everyone.